Hi guys, Suzanne Wilson, the Carefree Medium here. I wanted to talk with you real quick about questions I've been receiving about what happens to our physical form. What do we become? Are we solid after our body dies and we go back to heavenly home or the spirit world? And the answer that I found through making thousands of connections with spirits is that we don't become automatically enlightened and we don't become balls of light or orbs floating around aimlessly. I address this in my book, Soul Smart, What the Dead Teach Us About Spirit Communication. And I know that others have addressed this question, and I'm not sure why I'm getting so many questions about, do we just become orbs after our bodies die and when we go home? But I want to answer it here and now. It's not just me, but you can look at information from about a century and a half of reliable mediums who have documented their spirit contact, and these spirits who have provided excellent evidence that this is real and not in the medium's imagination have told us that their world is solid. And not only that, we have out-of-body experiencers, a couple come to mind, that will tell us that as they astral travel, that world can sometimes seem more real than this one. For example, Jürgen Ziva and Cyrus Kirkpatrick, and even me. I do quite a bit of astral traveling. I did more as a child, but in recent years, since 2007, I've been doing a lot more. And there are actually astral versions of the cities on Earth that you may visit in your sleep. Sometimes a dream is not just a dream. But that's just part of the evidence. The real evidence comes from, you have to hold this in your heart when I say this to you and just see how it resonates with you. But when we die, when this body dies, that's all that dies. It's like just leaving the old suit behind, and we go back to our true form, which is pure spirit. And pure spirit is not just a ball of light. We will actually don a physical appearance. For most people, it is their young, healthy version of who they are right now, because nobody wants to go over, feeling broken down and sick and looking that way. And this body that we have, or an etheric body, whatever you want to call it, labels are just labels, guys. The point I want to make to you here is that your loved one on the other side of life is not a ball of light. They can communicate with you. They know what's happening in your life because in many ways you are a big part of their heaven. And they're not automatically enlightened and become in nirvana. And I mean, that wouldn't be them, would it? They're definitely enjoying their life without physical, mental, emotional impairments and things. They may still have some things they want to learn and grow. I think that's a large part of why we would have reincarnation. I don't know all the reasons why we reincarnate, but I know that it's very complicated. But the bottom line is, just because you capture on your camera with your cell phone or your digital camera, just because you capture an orb, that does not mean your loved one looks like an orb, my dears. No, 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 no. They look like them, only the best punched up version of them. And they're not brainless and stupid, silly, happy, just bouncing around without a purpose. The news is much, much better than that. There's a real life and a real world and real things that they can do, and arts and sciences and hobbies and helping, and sometimes bringing their energy down to the earth to help people here. So please, 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 I had a couple people who were bereaved parents, and that always touches the heartstrings really, really hard, where they're thinking that their child is now just a ball of light. It is not the case. It is not the case. They are not suffering, but they're not just crazy, stupid bumper cars of light bumping into each other, amounting to nothing. When you have your correct time to transition back to heavenly home, you will find them as you remember them, but not sick, not broken down, just perfect, healthy, happy, and whole. You will find that they remember those times that you've spent together. And not only that, they haven't missed a thing in your life. They know about it because they've been checking on you. So I just kind of want to help anybody who's upset thinking that their loved one is now pretty much a nothingness and returning to some big unified whole, like some kind of robot part in a machine. It doesn't compute. It doesn't fit with thousands of readings, not just mine, but many, many evidential mediums. It doesn't fit with what out-of-body experiencers are telling us. It doesn't fit with the near-death experiencers, the ones that actually really go longer than I did. I didn't get into a tunnel or go in a white light in my near-death experience, but the ones that go further tell us they're in a real world and they have a real body. It just doesn't break down or get sick. So I hope that that helps you. I don't have the answers for everything. I really kind of raise an eyebrow to those who tell me they do. See if I can raise an eyebrow, and a little bit there. But I do have the answer to this based on my experience and based on my research. So the next time you capture a loved one as an orb in a picture, tell them, hey, I know this is how I see you in this picture, but I want to thank you for dropping by and joining the fun. But I know you're not an orb. I know you're still part of my life, because we're all children of a divine source who loves us, and love truly does live forever. You're never alone.